Well, guys, week one is finished, and honestly, I'm a little bit surprised by my feelings with this knife after a week. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? It's Joe with Nintendo Daily, and this is the completion of week one of my 5-week knife challenge. So, knife of this week was the Benchmade Barrage. Go check out that video that I initially put up. There is going to be some changes to this challenge after some thoughts and consideration. So we'll get into that in a minute. But I wanted to go over my pros and cons of carrying my Benchmade Barrage for this full week. And most of this week, I was out of town on a work trip. So it did not get as much use, but the first half of the week, I really put it to work around the house. And I got to say, I was a little bit disappointed. And not that this is a bad knife whatsoever. This is a workhorse of a knife for sure. I mean, it's held up very well over 13 years. Um, it did the job it needed to do. And so none of my complaints are against the knife as far as its use and utility. Everything is just kind of preference at this point. So if you didn't see that first video introducing the 5-week challenge, this was my first real good knife that I spent a decent amount of money on. Back in 2013, when I was stationed in California, a buddy talked me into buying a Benchmade. This is the one I went with. As my tastes and interests developed over the years in different pocket knives, I have learned that one, I'm not a fan of serrations. I don't need them. I don't really use them. I know the use and the utility of them can come in handy, but overall, not something I would prefer on a knife I'm going to spend some money on. Second was I realized I'm not a big Tonto fan. Now I do have a couple of Tontos now that I really enjoy. The Civivi Brazen, and I mean even this one isn't bad, but it would not be my first choice of a blade shape for a go-to. But I think the biggest complaint I had with this was one, just how not even bulky, but compared to what I normally carry, this is a heavy, bulky knife. Like this is a get shit done, hard use knife for sure. But there was a lot of things I missed about knives I normally carry this week, but I stuck to it, kept this knife in my pocket the whole week. As hard as it was, I was really trying not to go ADHD and swap them out 15 different times, but I held on to it, kept it in my pocket all week. Whew, and that was a tough week, man. Just for the sheer fact of I forced myself not to carry any other knife but this one. And like I said, it did great. It got through the tasks I needed it to do around the house and then even while I was gone. But I think what I miss the most and why I don't carry this one as much anymore, and I found out clearly after carrying it for this week, was like I mentioned, the serrations and the Tonto, not my first go-to choice for a blade shape or overall use. The second thing was the fidget factor was kind of gone for me. And no, that should not be the main reason you carry a knife. So I'm not saying, I didn't like carrying this knife strictly because I couldn't, flip it around. It's got the axis lock, but being an assisted knife, there's no little pocket fidgeting, anything like that that I have gotten used to doing. So that's not necessarily a bad thing, but just something that I noticed after not carrying an assisted for so long and then going to a straight full week of carrying an assisted knife. I missed that. I definitely missed being able to play with it. I didn't cut myself at all this week, so that's, I guess a plus side of of not fidgeting and playing with your knife as much. But I really missed being able to just sit there and back and forth, open and close. But not the biggest thing in the world. Again, all my complaints about carrying this knife this week are just preference. There is nothing wrong with this knife whatsoever. This is still a great knife. I still love this knife, and it's got a lot of sentimental value to me. But I realized why I don't carry it as much anymore. So just the size of it, the fact that it's an assisted, um, the blade shape, the serrations, like overall, This is not a knife I would normally carry anymore, but it's purely preference. So Benchmade Barrage is done for week 1. It is going back into the knife case, and we will get started in with the week 2 knife. But that is where I have some alterations. And so I don't think I put as much thought into the 5 knives I picked for this as I should have. Because one of the reasons I wanted to do this was to pick knives and carry knives that I don't normally carry, that I hardly ever carry. These 2 were in that. The Vostede Mink was supposed to be week 2's knife. Thinking about it, especially this week, coming in, knowing I was going to be carrying this knife coming into this week, this is actually a knife I carried a lot. Right after I got it, this was a Christmas gift this past year, but right after I got it, but then even after that, especially once I put the Sagewood gear belt loop attachment on there, I carried this thing a lot. I mean, work, home, going out, softball games, like this got a lot of time on my belt. And so it kind of got me thinking like, all right, Joe, this is not why you're doing this 5-week challenge. This 5-week challenge is to carry knives, put knives in your pocket or on your belt that you don't spend a lot of time with, that don't get a lot of love. This one just did not fit the bill. And I thought about that on my drive home today from being out of town. I thought, man, what was I thinking? Putting the mink in. Like, I love this knife. I carry it a lot. It's such a great looking knife. Like, just the overall aesthetics of this knife are just so pleasing. And so it has gotten a lot of time on my belt because of that. So I am varying from the original 5 knives because of that reason. After putting some thought and consideration into it, this gets way more pocket time than any other knife. Not any other knife, but there are several other knives in my collection that do not get nearly as much, if any, pocket time or love that it should. So unfortunately and fortunately, this one's going to be out. So I picked a different knife for week 2 because this has gotten enough love. I need one that has not been in my pockets a lot. So the mink is out, and to replace that, I chose the Miguron Talism. I believe that's how you say it. I feel like I'm always stuttering over my words when I say the name of this knife. But this was one I had picked up on Amazon for like 20 bucks, and I carried it for a couple days after I got it, and then realized, I'm going to go back to my go-to. But it's got everything I love on a knife, especially a budget knife. G10 scales, D2 steel. It's got a great fuller for, flicking it open. Wow. There we go. It's got a great fuller for flicking it open when you know what you're doing. It's got a flipper tab. Liner lock, I'm kind of indifferent on that. Like, it wouldn't be my first choice, but it doesn't bother me enough to not carry a knife. So liner lock is perfectly fine. And it's got the steel liners, deep carry pocket clip. Like, this checks a lot of boxes for me for what I look for in a knife. And especially, like I said, a budget knife. The finger choil is great for choking up on, but I can also get a full grip on this handle. So this one I threw back in there because I know there are a lot of things I love about this knife, and a lot of things that I would normally look for when I'm looking for a new budget knife. I think the issue for me was the handle is just a little bit thick. Again, for what I would normally carry or what I have been drawn to, especially as my tastes in knives have developed over the last several years. So again, nothing wrong with this. I think the handle is just a little bit thick. I can definitely feel that pocket clip when I'm holding it right here, kind of rubbing right at the base of my fingers. Nothing like a major hot spot, but if I was doing any more than 5 minutes worth of work with this thing, I would definitely be able to feel that. But it is a good knife. I bought it for a reason. It deserves some more pocket time. And so this is going to replace the Vostede Mink, and this will be my week 2 knife carry for this week. So we'll see how it goes. And I'm kind of impressed that like I said, I was actually able to do the full week without grabbing something else with the Barrage. So I think if I can do that with this one, I should not have any problems with the Meguron here. So this will be in my pocket for week number 2. And there we go. So week number 2 right there. Now, my Bradford Guardian 3, my newest knife in my collection. This thing is beautiful. It's amazing. And I said the reason I was going to make this week number 5's knife was because I wanted to end with a knife that I really loved. Then thinking about why I swapped out the Bastide, because I carry this knife a lot. Just since I've bought this knife, it has been on my belt. I mean, so much. Like, it pretty much every day since I bought it, it has been on my belt, minus this past week with the Barrage. And so I wanted to end strong with a knife that I really love carrying. But I know as soon as this 5 weeks is done, I'm probably just going to go right back to throwing this on my belt, because I love this knife a lot. It's been great. I have no complaints, even with the rigged up belt clip I threw on there. Thanks again, Everyday Zach, for posting that video, because this was a great idea. But even with that rigged up belt clip, I absolutely love this. I love the sheath. I love the knife. Even being like a 3.5 finger grip on there with the lanyard, there's no issues whatsoever. Great finger choil. It's just an overall great knife. And so I figured and was thinking, if I got to cut out the mink because of the reason of this gets a lot of pocket time, week number 5 should not be another knife that I've carried a lot and absolutely love. So that will also be replaced. I would just like to say, and maybe I'm just convincing myself of this, at first I wasn't sure about swapping out the knives at all, because I thought, you know what, I picked my 5 knives, I got to stick with them. But I think the justification I have in my mind of these get a lot of time on the belt, I need to pick something I don't normally carry. And I ended up picking 2 more folders, because after looking through all my fixed blades, my EDC size fixed blades, I've carried them all a lot. My Kaiser Drop Bear fix, the Kaiser Muskrat, the Deckhand, even my Azula 2, my SE Azula 2, like that has gotten a ton of time on my belt. My Azula 2 is probably my oldest, or the fixed blade, the smaller fixed blade that I've had the longest out of that whole collection. So it has definitely got a lot of pocket time on hiking trips, camping trips. Even when I just first got it, I'd throw it on my belt with this attachment, actually. And so I couldn't find any of my EDC size fixed blades that haven't gotten the pocket time that they've already deserved and earned. So both the fixed blades in this 5-week collection is out. Excuse me. And I will be ending this 5-week EDC challenge, knife challenge, with the mini Kershaw Iridium. I ended up picking up the full size and the mini from Walmart when they started selling those. I got them probably just a few weeks apart. I carried the full size Iridium a lot. I mean, that is just a solid knife. There is a good reason why the Iridium is a favorite. And even after handling the Iridium Auto at GP Knives a few weeks ago, like it's such a great knife. But when I picked up the mini, it was kind of the same situation of I carried it in my pocket for a couple of days, and then I went right back to my go-to, which at the time was, I guess, either my Bug Out or my Wii Mini Mouse. And so I went back to that knife, and I still like the size of this. I like the mini sized, condensed down of the Iridium. It just did not get a lot of pocket time or love that it should have, especially I mean, I paid good money for it, right? I mean, it wasn't stupid expensive. Obviously, this is a good budget knife, but paid the money for it, and I have not gotten my money's worth out of this knife. And so that is why I'm going to end this 5-week challenge with the Kershaw Mini Iridium. The colors, that light blue, powder blue, and the gold accents on the back spacer and everything else, they are cool colors. It's just for me, very flashy. I tend to stick with dark earth tone colors, or just black in general, as you can see from all the other knives in, laid out here on the table, I mean, that thing definitely sticks out. Like, you line all these up, and that is what my eyes are just drawn to because it is so bright compared to what I normally carry. So that was another reason I wanted to carry this one, was because it's a great knife. It's got aluminum scales, D2 steel, deep carry pocket clip, awesome Duralock, super smooth action. Just like with the Migron, it checks a lot of boxes for me, and it is a great knife. So that is why that ended up going into week 5 spot, because again, it checks a lot of boxes. It is what I look for in a knife. I just didn't carry it as much as I should have, or normally would have for a knife like this. So I think the color kind of steered me away from it after carrying it for a little bit. But in the end, like, the colors are cool. I am just, like I said, more naturally drawn to dark earth tone colors. But this will be week number 5's knife, and we're going to end with that. And I'm hoping that after these 5 weeks, maybe that'll help me, swap my knives out a little bit more and keep a little bit more of a rotation going with the knives in my collection, because it's what I got them for. We love collecting knives. We love having these big collections. For the most part, most of us enjoy having a large collection of knives, whether it's strictly collecting or just being able to rotate a bunch of different knives in and out. That's why I have this. So this will be week number 5. Migron Talisman is week number 2, so that will be going in my pocket today. I think that's it. So I've got my 2 knives swapped out. I will not be carrying any fixed blades in this 5-week challenge. It is all going to be folders, all smaller knives. The other 2, if you haven't seen the initial video of when I started this challenge, is going to be my Boker Trapper. That thing is awesome. Did not get as much pocket time as it should have when I bought it down at Smoky Mountain Knife Works last year or 2 years ago. Yeah, I definitely wanted to have a classic slip joint knife in there, and that is one of my few slip joint knives that I have, and it's gotten some pocket time, but not nearly as much as I would like to. And I think it's because it just sits loose in my pocket. I have a little leather slip for it that I can put it in and put it on my belt, but I think I just got annoyed with it. But now that I've been carrying more fixed blades on my belt, I don't think having that leather slip on my belt is going to bother me as much. So week number 2, Migron Talisman, ending off week number 5 with the Kershaw Mini Iridium. So these are the 2 new ones I threw in there. These are the 2 I threw out. And the Benchmade Barrage is what we just ended week 1 with. So there's your quick overview. You guys are watching this series. I appreciate it. Throw a like out there. Leave a comment of anything that you would trade out if there's knives like these 2 that you carry a lot and tend to go back to, and what knives don't get as much love or as much pocket time from you guys. Maybe give it a try yourselves. I don't know. But thank you for watching this video. Thank you for watching the series. I appreciate the support from everybody. I'll see you in the next one.